Let's be upstanding and holding onto your ball just in front of you. You're going to stand with your knees slightly bent. I'm going to change the camera angle of fraction. There we go. So standing with your knees slightly bent, you're going to lift the arms up to the ceiling. So lengthen yourself up towards the ceiling as much as you can. And then imagine that you're a waterfall and you're going to just cascade yourself down into a little roll down. Slightly unusual because your arms start off above your head, but just rolling down through your spine, head down towards the bottom of that roll down position. Find the stretch in the back of the legs. And then pulling your tummy tight, you can slowly start restacking the spine, lifting up. Let your arms hang heavy this time and just hang them in front of your body as you restack your spine and stand up nice and tall. Take the arms up above your head again, lengthen up to the ceiling, stretching upwards, and then cascade yourself down, rounding through the spine. You actually find you get quite a nice stretch with the arms above the head as you fold forwards. Find the bottom of that roll down, hold it there for a few seconds, and then take a breath in, pull the tummy tight, and restack your spine. As you breathe out, you build that spine back up one block at a time, lifting all the way up. And we're just going to do one more, lifting the arms up above your head. Stretch up towards the ceiling, and then cascade yourself down, rolling all the way down through the spine. Try and segment your spine if you can as you head all the way down. And then because you've got the ball quite low down, if it's down on the ground, you can just roll it around to the outside of your left foot. And so you'll find there's a bit of a stretch on the right side of your spine in the lower back, and then roll it around to the other side. You can let your hips swivel a bit if they want to. And then rolling back to the center, round to the other side again. One more time to the left. Feel that lengthening on the right side of your lower back, hopefully. Hold it there, and then round to the other side. Last one, just to the right. Feel that nice little stretch down the side of the back. Keep the knees in line with the toes if you can. And then coming back to the center. Pull that tummy tight, breathe in, and then as you breathe out, you start restacking your spine, hanging your arms heavy in front of you, coming all the way up nice and tall into your standing position. Take the ball, and I want you to pop it under one foot. Doesn't matter which one. In fact, let's make it under your right foot. There we go. So you're standing on your left. There we go. Oh, shame. Kathy battling with connectivity, maybe. Okay. So you're standing on your right, standing on your left foot, ball's under the right foot. I want you just to dribble the ball forwards, around to the front, and then dribbling it around quite wide out to the back, and see if you can take it slightly behind you maybe, and just feel with your foot where it is. So careful you don't look around to it, and then bring it forward. And as you're dribbling that ball forwards and backwards, just soften your left leg. So the leg you're standing on, soften it slightly. I think that's fine. If you're standing on the other leg, it's not a problem at all. Going all the way around. No, actually you are. You're all on the correct leg. You're just dribbling backwards and forwards. And you'll notice if you keep that knee slightly bent, that you start feeling a little bit of work happening in that left hip. As far back as you can without looking, if you can help it. Coming all the way forwards. There we go. And then you can bring the ball back. Say again? You've got to keep your foot in contact with the ball most of the time. It's like short little sharp movements. Now you can bring the ball to in line with your other foot. So you're going to have your feet kind of that hip distance apart. You've got fair amount of weight on the ball, but not all of your weight. So it's probably like a 15% weight distribution. So 15% on the ball. So you're still standing on your left leg. Imagine you're just sitting down onto a chair and then coming back up, pulling the tummy nice and tight. You should have enough pressure that you feel like that right leg has to stabilize, to stay still, but that you're not going to pop your ball. You don't want to feel like you are at all unsafe. And just ensure that your neck stays in a fairly neutral position. So the tendency with this one is that your neck will kind of extend a little bit. So you want to be looking sort of down at the floor about 3 meters in front of you. And coming up, keep that right leg nice and stable if you can, with as much weight as you can, but without feeling unsafe. Last one, coming up. Pause for a second now. Keep that weight distribution on that right leg. Arms down by your sides. We're going to go into a little roll down. So soften the knee that you're standing on. Roll yourself down. Try and segment through the spine. So articulate through each vertebra. Coming all the way down. Keep a little bit of weight on that right leg on the ball. And then restacking your spine. Coming slowly all the way back up. Restack. Stand up tall. Go tall through the spine. And take that foot off the ball and change it over to the other side. Okay, don't worry, the ball does get away every now and again. Okay, so you're standing on your right leg, balls on the under the left foot. Soften the knee, so bend the knee that you're standing on, and you're going to just roll the ball forwards and then backwards, and see how far back behind you can go without looking at where the ball is. It's quite a good awareness of your body in space, that you can be aware of where that leg is going and what it's doing without looking at it. It's a very important balancing tool, particularly if you're walking on something uneven or hiking, or even just whoops, see, there you go. Even if pavements and that sort of thing, is that if you're looking down at your feet, it's less posturally ideal. So the more we can walk up tall and be aware of what our feet and our legs are doing all by themselves, quite helpful. Going all the way back. Keep going, nice small little movements with the foot, keeping that knee soft. Don't lock into the right knee. You'll tend to want to lock because it's easier on that right hip, hey? There we go. And then when you're feeling fairly done with that, you can bring that ball in so that your feet are about hip distance apart. Place a fair amount of squishy pressure on that ball. If it pops, don't worry, it just means your foot will go down. So it's not going to end badly, not too badly. Right, so give it a bit of a squish. And we're going to sit down on the chair. So pull the tummy nice and tight, and then coming up. Remember, you want enough pressure on that left foot, or that left leg, don't twist an ankle, the left leg, that you feel like you're having to hold that leg nice and stable as it wobbles on the ball. There you go. If you feel a little bit unstable, then take a bit of pressure off that leg. It means that your right leg will have to work a bit harder, but that you're less likely to fall over. That's ideal. Almost there. Keep that weight pressure on that leg. Last two, tummy nice and tight. Check in that the neck and the shoulders are relaxed. Last one, coming all the way up. Keep that pressure on that ball. Keep the knee soft on the right leg. Hang the arms down by the sides and tuck the chin in. Going into a little roll down. Be cautious of this one that you don't feel unstable with that foot on the ball. So if you need to take some pressure off, then do so. Otherwise, try and keep as much pressure as you can on, because it works a little bit harder into your stabilizers. Hold the tummy tight and start restacking your spine. Going all the way up. Shoulders come up, head comes up, and standing up nice and tall. And you can step off that ball, shake out the legs a little bit. There's a lot of stabilizing work that happens on the leg that's not on the ball, actually. Okay, now I'm going to head into a little roll down. Place the ball at the end of your mat, so away from you, and you stand at the back of your mat. All right. Feet are going to be hip distance apart. Rolling down. So tuck that chin in, soften the knees, hang the arms heavy. Imagine there's a cloak over your back, so you're super soft in the shoulders and the arms, stretchy in the back lines of the body. Bend your knees enough that your hands can go flat onto the mat. And then walk your hands out 4 or 5 nice big steps, and just stretch yourself out into a plank for the fun of it. Pull the tummy tight, legs stay nice and strong. If you need to put your knees down, do so. Push up between the shoulder blades so you're connecting into your armpits. Your tummy is engaged. That's what's holding you there. That is absolutely exquisite, everybody. Keep the bum down in line with the shoulders and the knees and the ankles, and then gently lower your knees down. I'm so impressed. Birthday girl. Right, lower yourself slowly back down. Your hips can come down through the gap, doing a little half kind of reverse-ish push up. And you're going to hold your ball. You're not lying on the ball this time. You're going to have the ball out in front of you. Arms are going to be out straight. Forehead is down on the mat, so your nose is just hovering away from the mat. There we go. You're going to squeeze the bum, push the pelvis into the mat. Start pushing into your hands a little bit, which will help you to lift your head away from the mat and your chest just a fraction away from the mat. Try and soften into the bottom of your sternum. So you're trying to push your sternum into the mat. And that'll get you that correct connection into the middle of the back. Pull the tummy just a little bit tight, and let's see if you can lift that ball away from the mat without dropping in the chest. Try and hover it just for like a second or two, and then gently place it back down and roll yourself all the way back down. It's a really hard work movement to reverse that contraction into the shoulders. So as you breathe in, you can squeeze the bum, start lifting your chest, lifting your head. You can push into your arms a little bit to get the lift. But then you've got to remember that you're going to be lifting your arms. So then start disengaging that push on the ball and see if you can lift the ball just a fraction and hover it and hold it there. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. And then come slowly down with the ball and slowly all the way down. It's a pretty hard work exercise. If you can try and keep your legs down, that's also ideal. So don't let the legs counterbalance. Right, one more time. Breathing in, squeeze the bum, anchor the pelvis, lift the chest, lift the head, push the bottom of your sternum into the mat. So get that connection into the middle of the back, and then see if you can lift your arms, hold them there for a few seconds. If you can hold the ball in one hand, take it in your right hand, pass it around to behind your bum, and see if you can grab it with your other hand. So you're now holding the ball at the back of your body, so on your bum. Your chest is still up, your head is still up. So you're in that little, as if you're diving into a pool with the hands behind your back, which is a very unsafe way to dive into a pool, and lower yourself all the way back down. Keep your hands there if it's okay in the shoulders. If you need to, then you can put the ball down and just take the hands out to the sides of the hips. So if it feels uncomfortable having the hands behind your bum, then rather open up the hands a little bit. Oh dear. The runaway ball here. All right, so you're holding the ball behind your back. You're going to squeeze the bum into the pelvis, breathe in, lift the chest, lift the head. Now you're going to transfer the ball to your left hand if you are holding the ball. If you put the ball down, don't worry, just do a sweeping movement with the arms all the way around to the front so that you can pass the ball to your other hand. Hold it there. See if you can keep the lift in your chest and pass it around to your left hand this time and round to the back. So you've changed direction behind your bum, hold it there, pass it to your right hand and bring it all the way forward and hold it in the front of you and hold it there for a few seconds. Now lower everything slowly back down. Here we go. Lower everything slowly back down and relax for a second. That's it. If you're feeling it in your lower back at all, just wriggle the pelvis side to side a little bit. We're going to do one more time, so exactly the same thing. So we go one direction, we pass it back the other direction, and then we lower down, right? So we're going to squeeze the bum, lift the chest, lift the head, get that connection into your middle or upper back, then float those arms up, keep the legs down. Pass the ball to your left hand, hand it all the way around to the back of your bum if you can. Otherwise, just do these sweeping movements with your arms, come all the way forward, connect the hands, and then pass it to your right hand. Don't let your chest drop. Keep the squeeze on the bum. Pass it back to your left hand. All comes forwards and lower yourself all the way back down. Very nicely done. I got a bit of a puff going on that one. Right, so place your hands in the same position. Put your hands both on top of the ball. Here we go. You're going to start pushing onto the ball. You could hover your forehead just a fraction away from the mat, but this is less about your middle and upper back and more about working your lat muscles. So you could bend your elbows just a fraction so they're soft in the joints. Your elbows come off the mat and you're going to push down on the ball. Now this one you might feel doesn't feel so great in the shoulder. So if you don't feel like it's good in the shoulder, then just bring the ball closer to your forehead. In fact, everyone can bring the ball closer to your forehead. So roll the ball so it's just away from your forehead. Place both hands on top of the ball, elbows now come out to the sides. Same way of working your lats, but it's a little bit gentler on the shoulders. Bring your shoulders away from your ears, so connect into those armpits. Squeeze the bum just a little bit so that you're offloading the low back and then pressing into the ball and then release. Press into the ball. Try and connect into your lat muscle. So it's under the arms. You will probably feel this on the top of the shoulders. If there's pain, just sit this one out. We really don't want discomfort on this one. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Don't let them hunch up. Squeezing into the armpits. Squeeze the bum. Push the pelvis into the mat. Don't forget to breathe. We've got two more. And last one. And relax the squeeze on the ball. Relax your head all the way down. Place the ball just to one side, so it hopefully doesn't disappear, but we'll fetch them just now. Hands under your shoulders, pop your elbows up, and push yourself all the way back into a little rest position. So find a happy place for your knees and for your maybe big toes are together, maybe knees are close. And you can just stretch your body forwards so that you can feel a nice release into the back muscles. So that's the only one that could have aggravated any kind of shoulder issues. Just be careful not to cause drama. We don't need to create more work for, for our other therapists. So just be gentle on the shoulders with that one. Taking nice deep breaths into the back of the rib cage. So you want to feel like you're inflating the back of your lungs as you breathe in, and as you breathe out, that you're softening into the rib cage and closing those gaps between the ribs, doing full breaths in and full breaths out. As you breathe in, you fill the lungs, and as you breathe all the way out, on that fully emptied lungs, you're going to just pause for a second or two before you breathe in again fully. And then breathing in. So you'll end up taking quite a fast, deep breath inwards. And then all the way out. Pause for a second or two once you've lost all that breath. Totally empty. And then breathing in. And you can breathe through the nose or the mouth. Pretty much whatever feels like it works for you. And then you can pull yourself slowly back up. Lying down on your left side. There we go. You're going to take the ball and pop the ball between your ankles or your knees. You can choose on this one. If it's between your knees, then you'll find it's a little bit easier. Between your ankles is a little bit more of a challenge. Your legs are out straight. Find a comfortable place for your neck. And for the first couple, you can have your right hand in front of your tummy just to stabilize you a little bit more. You've got your legs out long. Check that they are in line with your, so you've got your ankle, your knee, your hip, shoulder, and ear, all in a nice straight line. Be careful of looking down at your body with this one. So your head stays neutral too. You're going to lift up a little bit into that left oblique. So you're pulling your waistline away from the mat first. Then you're going to float those legs up off the mat. So this one should be feeling a little bit more confident that you can keep that left connection and you can keep as much lift as possible in the side lifting position. So you can keep as much air time under that bottom leg as possible. And now we're going to take that arm up to the ceiling. So stretching that arm up long, try and relax your neck. So see if you can stay heavy with your head on your arm or on your pillow. And you've still got that connection in the left obliques. You're still lifting your legs as high as you can. Go. Holding it there for a few more seconds. Nice deep breaths. I'm not going to do a lot of these lifts. Now, if you want to, you can place that right hand back down in front of your tummy, or you could keep it up there just to challenge your balance. We're going to squeeze the ball with your legs, but not letting your legs drop. So squeeze up with that bottom leg. Squeeze and then release. And squeeze and release, but your legs don't drop in height. 3 and 4. Squeeze, relax the neck. 5, tighten that left oblique. 6, squeeze. 7, and last one, 8, hold the squeeze as big as you can, and lower everything slowly back down. Arm comes back down to the floor. Very nicely done on that one. All right, not an easy one. You can bring the ball all the way up from between your feet. So take the ball out from between your feet and pop it maybe under your armpit or under the side of your left rib cage. You're going to come up so that you are on your elbow, but you are actually quite nicely supported by the ball. Okay. So you want it to be almost rib cage, less armpit, more rib cage. So you've got a bit of space under the armpit, need airflow. Right. Both the legs can be out long, or you can have the bottom leg bent. So see what feels better in your hips. Sometimes the hips take strain when they're out long. It's just a stretch on the ITB. So that's what you're going to feel there. Keep your hips stacked so they're not allowed to roll backwards or forwards. Keep them one on top of the other. And you're going to just lift that top leg up and then come slowly back down. So lifting that right leg and down. And now see if you can start pushing into your armpit a little bit. Connect into the armpit. See if you can lift the pressure off that ball. So see if you can just unsquash the ball, but keep the same lift in the leg. Good morning, bottom. Up we go. Lift away from the ball. You're squashing the ball. Don't pop the ball. Almost done. Take the pressure off. Lift that leg as high as you can. Last two. Squeezing into the armpit. Last one. Slowly back down and relax. Very beautifully done. We're going to just swing the legs around or roll yourself over, whatever suits you. Ball back between your ankles or your knees, wherever you had it on the other side. And then find that happy, relaxed place for your head on your arm or on a pillow. Legs are out long. Here we go. And check your alignment. So make sure that your ankles, your knees, your hips, your shoulders, and your ears are all in a straight line. You can plant that left arm or your hand in front of your tummy to start off with. There we go. And as we're holding that position, you're going to get that little connection into your right oblique. So you're trying to pull your right oblique away from the mat just a little bit. And then let's float those legs up off the mat. Hold that connection. So you're balancing on the side of that little hip bone on your right side. Relaxing the head. So don't let the head counterbalance the weight of your legs. Keep that connection into your right obliques and as much air time under that bottom leg as you can. Remember, we're going to hold this one, but not for forever. And we're not going to do more than just one lift. Try and lift that arm up to the ceiling. Let's see if we can stretch it out long. Keep that tummy engaged, keep the neck relaxed. So as you lifted your arm, did you maybe tighten up into the shoulder and bring it up to the ear? So keep the shoulder away from the ear. Keep that arm long. You're lengthening the fingertips towards the ceiling. And then if you want to place the hand back in front of the tummy, you can, or you can keep challenging your balance as you squeeze that bottom leg up towards the top leg and then release. And squeeze that ball, but don't let your legs lose height. 3. So we've still got your right side oblique connection. 4. 5. Keep squeezing. Inner thighs, bottom leg, inner thigh, working the hardest. Neck is relaxed. Do you still have that oblique connection? I know I'm nagging. 6. What are we on? 7. Last one. 8. Hold, hold, hold. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Relax the neck and slowly come all the way back down. Very nicely done. You can take the ball out from between your legs. Pop it under your rib cage on that right side so that you're on your elbow. And then again, your legs can be straight or they can be bent on the bottom leg, but the top leg is out long. Okay, to start off with, you can be as relaxed on that ball as you like. Keep your hips stacked, so be careful that they're not rolling backwards or forwards, so they need to be stacked one on top of the other. There we go, and we're lifting that top leg up and then slowly down. Lifting it up and down. And as you lift up and down, let's see if you can start lifting yourself away from that ball. So less squish into the ball. And as you do that, you'll feel that if you can keep that connection away from the ball, that you start working much harder into the side of the hip. Careful the hips don't roll back. Almost done. Last 2, 9, and last one. Slowly down, and you can relax completely. We're going to lie down onto your back. Taking the ball, in fact, leave the ball between your ankles. So pop it back between your ankles, and you're lying flat on your back. Legs are out long. You're going to put your left hand behind your head. So just cradle your head in your arm, in your hand. Elbow can be relaxed out to the side. Take your right arm up to the ceiling. We're going to do our side plank rolls. So now you've got a little bit of a ball to squeeze on. So I want you to squeeze your ankles together. You're going to keep your body in one long unit. So imagine that you are one long piece of pipe. You can just stretch your right hand up towards the ceiling. So lengthen that shoulder coming out of its socket. Pull the tummy tight. Keep your head in your hand and see if you can roll your body in one unit up. Oh, that was terribly done. And over to the side and hold it there. So you lift everything in one piece. And then you're going to slowly lower it back down. So also in one piece, you pull everything nice and tight and you slowly bring yourself back to lying on your back. We're going to do the same thing again. Shoulder comes out of the socket, lift yourself up, roll yourself over. And often after one or two of these, your body goes, oh, that's what you want me to do. And it kind of figures out the neurological requirements and the muscle recruitment requirements. Coming slowly back. We're going to do two more on this side. Lift that arm out of the shoulder first. That's what kind of gets your movement going. If you let your shoulder come out of the socket and you pull yourself up towards the ceiling, rolling back onto your back. And you can do just one more, kind of in your own time, it's fine. Try and keep your head heavy in your hands so your head doesn't actually lift up off the mat significantly. It just kind of rolls over to the side. Neck doesn't get involved. All right, once you've done your full rolling back onto the mat, you can swap your arms around. So take your left hand up to the ceiling, right hand cradles your head. There we go. And you're going to lengthen that left arm up towards the ceiling. Give a bit of a squeeze on the ball and roll yourself in one nice piece over onto your right side. Lengthening that arm up towards the ceiling and then slowly roll yourself back all in one piece back onto your back. And then lifting up again. Don't forget to breathe with this one. So find whatever breath work works for you. You can do this one, either whether you're breathing out as you come back over and then breathe in as you rest and breathe out as you lower yourself back onto your back. I think we've got two more to go, hey? Remember? But it's important to breathe. So when we're holding our breath, that increases our blood pressure. It's not our best move. Let's just do one more. Rolling onto that side, lengthen the arm out of the socket as you roll. And then roll slowly back onto your back. One nice movement. That looks fantastic. And take your arms all the way down to your sides. You can lift the legs up. Take the ball out from between your, knees. Pop it between, feet. Pop it between your knees. Hold behind your sides. Give yourself a kick and sit yourself up. There we go. So just sitting up nice and tall with your knees bent. Okay, here we go. Right, when you're ready. Okay, so holding onto the ball, out straight in front of you, your knees are bent. You're sitting up as tall as you can. So lengthen up through the spine, but relax those shoulders. I want you to tuck the pelvis in and C-curve your spine. So imagine you're getting that nice C-curve into the spine. You're rounding the back. And just hold that there. So you want to go far enough back that you feel that connection into your tummy muscles. Should feel a little bit of a shudder as you hold it there. There you go. And then as you come back up, you can breathe out. You shouldn't have held your breath the whole time, but you want to always breathe out on your contraction stages. So you could breathe in now as you C-curve your spine and lean back. You breathe out. As you hold it there, you breathe in. And as you bring yourself back up, you breathe out. There we go. Pilates is not good for the spread of COVID. Lean back, but it's all about breathing. So that's good in terms of recovery, I suppose. And come all the way back up. Don't forget about your breath. We've got one more to go. So not a ton of these. C-curve the spine. Breathe out as you lean back. And go hold it there. And come all the way back up. That's one of the joys of online training, is that you don't have to train with a mask on. I did a class with a mask on the whole day yesterday, the whole class, and it was quite intense. Don't forget to breathe. Relax the neck, relax the shoulders. Come back up. Magical. We're going to do the same thing again. This time, don't go as far back. So get a little connection to the tummy. Hold it there. Pass the ball to the one hand. So let's start with your left hand. And you're going to reach that left hand out and behind you as far as you can. Imagine you're trying to put it down as far away from you as you can, and then bring it back to the center. Pass it to the other hand. Take it out to the side. Reach to that side. So imagine you're trying to pass it to someone that you just can't quite reach. And then come back again. And to the other side. Stretch and reach and turn and reach further, further, further. Reach for that couch, granny, and come back to the center. And out to the other side. Reach, 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 reach. You want to be stretching a little bit sideways. And then come up to the center. Sit yourself up, nice and tall. So the idea with this one, we're going to do just one more set, is as you go back, you want to be reaching across. So shifting your shoulder weight there. So to diagonal corner behind you, where you want to go. It's less about, it is about the rotation, but it's also about the reach. Okay, excellent. So let's do one more time. Tuck the tailbone under, C-curve the spine. Take the hand in your left, the ball in your left hand and stretch, rotate, reach for that back diagonal corner. Here we go. And come back up to the center. Don't straighten up your spine yet. C-curve. Keep that connection, stretch to the right. And come back to the center. One more to each side. Keep the shoulders relaxed if you can. Side oblique and abdominal muscles should be working hard. Come back to the center. Last one to the right. Stretch back, reach. Come back to the center. And sit yourself back up. You can flop yourself forwards over your legs. Just rounding that spine, but in a very relaxed position. Taking a few deep breaths in and out again. So just focusing on the back of the rib cage, expanding the lungs, getting a nice stretch in the intercostal muscles. And you can sit back up tall. Place the ball between your knees. You're going to once again just tuck the tailbone under. If you need to hold on to your sides, you can, and just roll yourself slowly back down all the way to the mat. And relax there, lovely. Move your heels so that they're quite close up to your bum. They're not going to stay there for long, so that's fine. Hands down by your sides, and then just move them out to a low V. So they're going to be slightly out away from your hips. We're going to take your legs up to tabletop. Now you've got the ball between your knees. Your kneecaps are now shining up towards the ceiling. Don't worry about squeezing the ball at all. All you're going to do is take both of your knees over to the left side, but I want you to feel like you are pushing the ball over your left knee with your right knee. So your right knee leads the movement of pushing your knees over to the left, and then you slowly come back to the center. And then your left knee leads the movement, pushing over to the right. Quite an important differentiation. So you've got to connect into that pushing over of the leg and using your abdominal muscles to pull you back, going over to the left, but lead with the right leg. So your right knee pushes over to go over to the left, and then going over with the left knee. Let the knees go to the side. Keep the shoulders heavy on the mat if you can, and come back to the center. Rolling over to the left. Don't forget to breathe, and come back. And over to the right. And you should feel like you get quite a good connection into the lower abdominals as you roll the hips side to side. Shoulders should be totally relaxed if you can. And coming back. Almost done. Rolling to the side. And come back to the center. And you can just hug the knees up to the chest for a few seconds. Here we go. Now you can take the ball and pop it between your ankles if you want to progress that one. So if that felt hard enough, then stay with the ball between the knees and keep doing that same movement that we've just been doing. Otherwise, pop the ball between your ankles, hands down at that low V position, and see if you can straighten the legs up towards the ceiling as much as possible. We're going to do the same thing now. As you take your legs over to the left, push that right ankle forwards first. So lengthen the right leg towards the left side, and then bring it back to the center. And then push that left leg over towards the right, and come back to the center. And again, over to the side. So the left means that your right leads the movement. Going to the right means your left leg, toes push over to the right, and come back. Keep those shoulders soft on the floor. And breathe. Over to the other side. We're going over to the right. Doesn't really matter which side you're going to. Go at your own pace, but we're going to do 2 or 3 more so that you can even yourself out. Back to the center. Last one for me. Oh, and lead with that outside leg. Back to the center. Once you've centered yourself, bend those knees, hug the knees up to your chest, and you can maybe rock your body side to side just a little bit so that you release any kind of lower back tension that's built up there. Okay, and you can take the ball out from between your feet. Place your feet back down onto the mat. You're going to put the ball under your right foot. So it's under the arch of your right foot, and your left foot is on the mat. Your feet are still quite close up towards your bum. So this one is a little bit of glute work on the leg that's left behind on the mat, and hip flexor work on the leg that's on the ball. So your hands are now close to your hips down on the mat. We're going to go into a little pelvic curl. So you're going to squeeze the bum. You put pressure on both feet. So you're squishing down into the ball and you're pushing into your left leg quite hard. Squeeze the bum, particularly on the left side. So the bum on the left is what's holding your hips up. Then your right leg starts straightening out as you roll that ball away from you. You stretch out into that right hip, and then you pull the ball back in towards you, back to neutral. Squeeze the bum on the left, push the hips a little bit higher. Straighten out the right leg. Stretch out into that hip flexor, and bring that ball back in. Keep squeezing the hips a little bit higher each time. See how high you can go with the hips. Keep squeezing and lifting. Engage in that left bum cheek and bring that foot back in, roll back in. With 2 to go. Squeeze the bum a little bit higher on the left. Don't let your right hip drop down. So the right hip's got to match the left hip. It's not allowed to sink as the ball goes away from you. And that'll just create a little bit more stretch into that hip flexor as the ball gets further away. Stretching that ball out and away from you. Last one, bring the ball back in and roll slowly back down from the top of your spine, pushing the lower back into the mat and then releasing the pelvis. And you can just swap the ball over to the other foot. There's quite a lot of work into the bum and the hamstrings, and then that stretch and release in the hip flexor on the side that's on the ball. Okay, hands down by your sides, squeezing the bum, put pressure onto both feet. But obviously that right bum is going to be doing most of the holding up work. So squeeze into the right bum, lift those hips nice and high, keep them level, and straightening the left leg away from your body. And then bending the knee, pull it back in, keep the hips level, squeeze the bum a bit higher, straightening the ball out and away, and coming back. Don't forget to breathe. Keep squeezing the bum a little bit higher every time you bring that ball back in. See how much work you can get into that right bum. Relax the neck and the shoulders. We've got 2 to go. Straightening out. Don't let the left hip drop down. You're going to feel like that one wants to drop down as you straighten the ball out. And come back. I think we're on last one. I think that was maybe 2 even. Do one more for good luck. Last one. There we go. Bring that ball back in, and from the top of your spine, start replacing each vertebra back down onto the mat. And relax it. You can take the ball back into your hands. Here we go. All right, so you're going to have the ball back between your knees. Apologies. There we go, ball between the knees. Hands up to the ceiling, interlace the fingers, pop the hands behind your head so that you're cradling your head in your hands. Lift the elbows into your peripheral vision. You're going to lengthen the back of your spine, tuck the chin in just a tiny bit first, and then lengthen the back of your spine as you lift your shoulders up, coming into a little chest lift, and then rolling them back down. So nice and easy. We've done this about 1,000,000 times. Lifting up and slowly back down. Keep the little chin tuck as you go up, lengthening into the back as you lift, and slowly back down. Just 2 more. Breathe out as you lift maybe. And careful not to tilt the pelvis. So you want to keep your lower spine neutral as you're lifting the shoulders up and down. So the upper back is bending and moving, but actually your lower back stays in the same position. On the next one, you're going to lift and hold. So come up, lift those shoulders, neutral spine, and let's give 10 little squeezes on the ball. So knees squeeze together and squeeze. 2, pull that tummy flatter into your spine. 4 and 5, big squeezes, big lift in the shoulders. Don't let the shoulders drop down. Keep pulling the belly button towards the spine. 7, I think. 8, almost done. 9, and just 1 more. And 10, relax the squeeze on the ball. Relax those shoulders all the way down to the mat. Beautiful. Right, taking that ball out from between your knees, You're going to see if this feels okay and comfortable, but try and squeeze that ball all the way under your bum. You might need to go onto your tippy toes to get it under there. Once it's under there, it actually feels like the best way to be doing a pelvic curl. No work whatsoever. Okay, so you want it to be on the triangle of your coccyx, so that lower kind of sacrum area, not lower back. So it should be supporting your bum. Hands are down by your sides. I want you to take one leg up to tabletop and then take the other leg up to tabletop. Keep your gaze focused on one thing maybe. So maybe find a light fitting or a, I don't know, tree or something. Pulling that lower tummy nice and tight. So you don't want to scoop into your belly. You want to keep your lower back in a neutral position and your tummy is engaged the whole time. Make your lower legs floppy so we know what's coming next. We're going to tap one foot down towards the mat and then bring it back up and tap the other foot down. And so you can do this very slowly and bring both knees back to the starting position before you start the other side moving. And then if you want to start challenging yourself, you can try and swap them over mid-movement. So you're doing almost that little very slow jogging action. See if you can keep that lower tummy stabilizing you on the ball. So that's what's doing the work. There's less pressure on the arms and the shoulders. In fact, if you're feeling particularly enthusiastic today, let's take those arms up to the ceiling. You're doing your little marching action. If that doesn't feel quite safe, but you want a little bit less of a challenge, you can bend the elbows to have just your hands up to the ceiling. Your forearms are off the mat. But having those arms right up to the ceiling, relaxing the neck, make that lower tummy do all the work for you. Your hip flexors are elastic. They're just along for the ride. The lower tummy is our workhorse here. And breathe. And now we're going to extend those legs a little bit and see if we can manage a cycling type of movement. You'll have to slow it down a little bit. Try and stay relaxed in the shoulders. The lower tummy gets a little bit more work if you extend the knees. So lengthen out a little bit with the legs with bigger circles. If it feels unsafe, you can put the arms down or you can go back to just the slow marching. So do what feels safe. Sometimes if you have any vestibular issues, then this can make you feel a little bit wonky because we're also inverted. So you are hips above head height, which can be a little bit complicated. Almost done. We've got 3 more or 4 more. So balance yourself out if you can even remember where you started. And pause for a second, both knees up. Hug those knees to your chest. So with your bum elevated, you actually get quite a nice release into the lower back. You get an extra little bit of a stretch. Should feel nice, not nasty. If it doesn't feel great, then rather don't do it. Here we go. And you're going to take your legs back to tabletop. Put your hands down by the sides and maybe take them back to that wide V. There we go. And now we're going to try gluing the feet together and the knees together. Remember we did that little knees side to side exercise. I want to try the same thing. It's a smaller movement this time. You're sliding your legs over to the right just a little bit or over to the left and then sliding them back to the center. And moving the legs over and then moving them back to the center. Small movement, shoulders stay heavy, knees stay level. So again, as you go to the right, see if you can push that left knee a little bit up and over. And as you go to the left, see if you can push the right knee forwards first. So you're always leading with the outside leg. The ball stays relatively still actually. So you're just shifting your weight over. And it'll feel more just like a balancing exercise than particularly hard work, I think. And come back. Keeping the shoulders nice and heavy. Don't let them lift as the knees go side to side. It's a small movement. And let's just do 1 or 2 more. So whichever side you started on, end on the other one. And then bring those knees back up to your chest for a little bit of a release. So that just challenges the balance a little bit more. We've got the ball under the bum. If it doesn't feel good having the ball under your bum, you can always take it out. I find it's quite fun myself. All right, taking your left knee in your hands, both hands on your left knee. You're going to straighten your right leg up to the ceiling. And then slowly start lowering it down, down, down. You're reaching for the ground as far away from you as you possibly can. If you need to put one arm down or your elbows down and just kind of figure out how to hold that other knee up, that's ideal. But you need to keep your balance. You need to keep that left knee up as high as you can. And you're trying to reach for the ground with that right heel as far away from you as you can. So you might feel quite a nice little release into the front of that right hip. If there's too many things going on, then you could also put your left foot down on the mat. So you could have that leg down and stable and just do the same thing. So now draw that right heel up towards you. Bring that right knee up towards your chest. Lengthen the right knee up so that your foot goes up to the ceiling, and straighten that leg as long as you can, reaching for the floor with the heel, opening up the front of that right hip as much as you can. Holding it there. So I found that I can actually hook onto the back of my left thigh with my left hand, but keep my elbows down. So if you can get your knee up that high, then it's quite a nice way to kind of just extra stabilize yourself. And then draw that right heel back towards your bum. Lift it up. We've got just one more on this side. Straighten the right leg up to the ceiling. You're getting a little bit of a hamstring stretch as you straighten it, and lengthen it down, reaching for the floor as far away from you as you can. You're keeping that left knee up so that you don't strain into the lower back. So you might find there's a bit of an arch into the lower back, but your left knee staying up high will just reduce that amount of lordosis that you get. Stretch, stretch, stretch into that right leg and bring that heel all the way back. Knee tucks up to your chest, and we're going to swap over. So if you're holding on tightly with both hands onto the right leg, lift the left foot up to the ceiling and then lengthen that leg all the way down, reaching for the floor with your heel as far away from you as you can. Otherwise, if you hook your right hand onto the back of your right thigh, then you can keep your elbows down maybe, and drawing that left heel towards your bum, come back knee up and straighten up to the ceiling. Get a little bit of a hamstring stretch as you straighten, and then lengthen that leg as far away from you as you can, stretching into the front of the hip. You really want to feel like you've got that length in the front of the hip and length into the leg. Holding it there. Keep that right knee up to your chest as much as you can, and then drawing that heel up towards you again. One more time. Straighten that leg up towards the ceiling. Stretch the hamstring and lengthening out towards the wall away from you, or heel towards the floor, kind of whatever gets you the most stretch in the front of that left hip. Holding it there for a few seconds. And then you can bring that knee all the way back, drawing the heel back, both knees up to your chest. Just hug them up tightly. While you're holding your knees up to your chest, maybe turn a few circles with your ankles. You can draw some circles with the balls of your feet. One direction and then change to the other direction. Just for amusement's sake. Here we go. And then you can place one foot down onto the mat, place the other foot down onto the mat, and you can just take the ball out from the bum, under the bum if you can, pop it to one side. I don't think we'll need it again, so you can just keep it close if it's your friend, otherwise throw it across the room. You can bring your right knee up to your chest, lengthen your left knee down long, and just rotate your right knee over to the left side. So you're rolling your hips over to the left. You can put your left hand on the outside of your right knee. So you're just going into a thoracic rotation, and then stretching your right arm out to the side as far as you can. So your right arm goes into a T-junction. Your hips are rotated to the left side. So a nice spiral stretch into the spine. And then you can start doing a big circle with that right arm. So maybe take it up to the side of your head, bring it all the way around, brush past your right hip and stretch it out. So almost like a big half snow angel. Doing nice circles with that arm. And you'll feel as you rotate through it, you might find that your shoulders go a little bit further back and you get a little bit more rotation as you mobilize the spine, and then you can change direction, see if that makes any difference. You might find that one direction of circling feels a little bit more releasing than the other way. Just something to notice. It doesn't make too much of a difference. All the way out to the side. One more nice big circle. Pause briefly with that arm in the most stretchy position you can find. Hold for just a few seconds. Nice deep breath in and out. And then you can use your left hand just to help your right knee come back up and push it back over to the center. Center yourself off and bring your left knee up. Right leg goes out, nice and straight. And let your hips roll over to that right side. You're kind of staying heavy-ish in the shoulders, but you might find that your shoulder lifts up, and that's fine. So place your right hand onto the outside of your left knee. Let your hips roll as much as you would like them to, and stretch your left arm out to the side, as far back as it's happy to go. Often with this position, you'll feel a bit of a click into the lower back, and that's or somewhere into the spine, and that's fine, so long as there's no pain. So stretching and a bit of clicking is okay. Hold it there for just a few seconds. You kind of soften into the stretch with your breath. And then you're going to start circling your arm. Doesn't matter which way you start going, brushing it past your left hip and coming all the way back up and over and around. So stretching out. The important stretch is to go as far out as you can with that arm. You want to feel like you're lengthening the arm away from your body when you go out to the left. And once you've done 3 circles or so, you're going to change direction, going the other way, and just notice whether it maybe feels nicer going one way than the other. And the ball is getting in the way here. Nice deep breaths in and out. And then you can pause once you've done your 3-ish circles. Pause with that arm out to the back, as stretched as you can. Take a nice deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then you can just relax. Take your right hand, push your left knee up. So sometimes it feels uncomfortable to get out of that stretch. So you can just help yourself a little bit with that hand. You're going to cross your right leg all the way over your left leg. So you're sitting in a thighs completely crossed over. That's it. We're going straight into your performance stretch. So bring your knees up to your chest as tightly as you can. Hold onto your shins or onto the outside of your lower leg. And start walking your hands down towards your ankles. Pull those knees up to your chest and pull the ankles away from one another. So you'll go into a deep glute stretch straight away. So you should feel this in the hips. But we've done quite a lot of hip flexor release. So you'll find that this actually feels okay, hopefully. Good little all for one special stretch. Like buy 2, get 1 free, you know. And then you can gently just release that. You can uncross the legs, swap them over to the other side, holding onto the outside of your shins. Walk the hands down towards your ankles. Bog off, that's the acronym I was looking for. Yeah, buy 1, get 1 free. My apologies. Anyway, you're doing the other side. You're getting a nice big stretch. Notice if the one side is a lot tighter than the other. It's things to notice just because if you are struggling with some sort of pain on one or the other side of your body. So often it's shoulder or knee or ankle or even elbow. And if there's a tightness on the other side or on one or the other side, that spiral line can affect certain peripheral joints. So holding those knees up as tightly as you can, the more tightly you can get the knees up to your chest, the more you'll feel that stretch deep into the glutes. Holding it there just for another second or 2. Deep breaths in. And you can gently release those legs, gently uncross the legs, hug the knees up to your chest one more time. you could C-curve your spine. So lift your head up and your shoulders up and curl yourself into the smallest, tightest little ball that you can. Hold on to the back of your thighs and give yourself a kick and see if you can sit yourself up. There we go. How much easier was that than at the beginning of the class? All right, swing your legs around. You're going to pop your feet underneath you, balls of your feet. Feet are going to be hip distance apart. Your fingertips can be on the mat. And we're going to start just by straightening the knees and pushing the bum up towards the ceiling. But I want you to try and keep your ribs down on your thighs. So see if you can keep your knees bent enough that your ribs stay down on the thighs, and then start straightening the knees. So imagine you start in your crouched position and you're folded in half, and you keep your chest down as you straighten up your knees and your legs. So you'll get much more of a stretch, possibly into the hamstrings. If you get your knees very straight, often then you start feeling it going down into your calves. But if your knees are bent and you're getting a lot of tension into the back line of your body, then generally it'll be your hamstrings that catch the stretch. Hold it there for a few seconds and then release the stretch by bending your knees a little bit, as much as you need to, and then straightening up again. Keep those ribs down on your knees or on your thighs. Straightening as much as you can. Relax the shoulders and the neck. Careful that we're not overthinking this a little bit by using our shoulders. And then bend the knees. You might feel a bit of a warmth in the quads and in thighs. Straighten those knees as much as you can. Get the biggest stretch. It's your last one. Make it count. Pull that tummy tight. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, you slowly start restacking your spine. Coming all the way up. Shoulders come up on top of your ribs. Head comes up on top of your shoulders. And you stand up nice and tall. Just take the shoulders up to the ears and rolling them back, opening the chest. And shoulders up to the ears again. Roll them back, open the chest. One more time, lifting up, squeeze them back. And last one, we've got to end with a deep breath in. Fill the lungs, connect the fingertips to one another. And breathing out. One more time, lifting up, lengthen the spine up to the ceiling. Breathe in, stretch the ribs, pause, and breathing out. There we go. And there you have it. Set for the weekend. There you go. Absolute pleasure, everybody.